Hey YouTube, it's Rebecca, and I am back with the next chapter from A Game of Thrones. However, before I get into Eddard and his history lesson, I have a couple things to say. One, I'm sorry that I'm late. I'm just I wasn't feeling it over the weekend. I was just like, I don't care. I want to sleep. I slept all weekend. It was so crazy. But this laziness, usually in my room there's like this corner that's like with the normal paint that you all are used to with like the sponge painting. However, it's a small corner and I like wedge myself into it. I don't want to today, so I'm on my bed. This will lead to two things. One, that's a headboard. Don't worry about it. Two, if I bounce, the computer moves because it's sitting in front of me. So if I ever like move around and the camera shakes, that's why. Anyway, so this is a gigantic history lesson. We learn a lot of things about the history. And it's so boring because none of this is relevant. It's like saying there are 13 trillion amoeba on your body. It's like you have no motion to that because you can't imagine trillion. You don't have a like frame of reference for it. And by the way, that's not true. I have no idea how many amoeba are on your body right now. But it's Ned and Robert. They're like going off riding through like the Stark's land or whatever. And step one, they guilt trip together about Ned sleeping with John's mommy. Her name is apparently Willa, and they're like, oh, she must have been totally hot for you to like betray your wife. And he's like, it was wrong of me. I'm a sinner. And the king's like, lighten up, bro. And at this point, I'm with the king, but the king's a bastard. We'll find out later. Yeah. So he's super upset that he brought up Willa. He's like, you don't bring up Willa. Remember when he yelled at Caitlyn for bringing up John? He's like, you do not talk to me about John. She's like, I'm sorry, man. Anyway, they learn something important here that Dany, I'm sorry, I totally just started over her name, wed Khal Drogo. They know now. And remember Dany, she like the guy with the braid. No, yes, yeah, that shit. I'm sorry, that is a swear word, I apologize. So and Robert is freaking out because he hates Targaryen, and that's her last name. She's Dany Targaryen. I just tried to pronounce her name again in my head, and I'm like, that was a really bad plan, Rebecca. Anyway, and so Ned is like, she's barely 13. You're freaking out over nothing. You really need to chill out. And the king is like, you're the hand, so I should probably listen to you. Not gonna. And Ned's like, face all those epic proportions. Because apparently Robert went around during like their civil war where he became king. He killed every single Targaryen he could get his hands on. Old, dead. Young, dead. Babies, dead. Sick, dead. And he's like, they'd grow up to be more Targaryen. I don't want to deal with them. It's like if you had a rat, you'd like kill it so there wouldn't be any more rats. It was that principle. And he's stupid, so... And Robert is like freaking out because he's like, Khal Drogo has like a bazillion men at his control. They're gonna cross the sea and come get me. And Ned is like, they don't have ships. Get it together. And the king is like, they can get ships. They're gonna kill me. And that's like, you're paranoid. Or that was me. I'm like, you're such a paranoid bastard. He literally killed children in this war. Brutally. Just like, bam, I don't care. But the talk turns away from that, and they start talking about Jon Arryn. He's dead, and he was the Warden of the East. They have like 4 sections, like north, south, east, and west, and they have a warden for each one who's like, it's like a, bigger than a fiefdom. It's like a time zone, almost, if you continue going with This Is America to explain things to you about feudal England that you really shouldn't know about. I do, because I'm stupid. Yeah, they're bigger than, like, the lords, which would be like the Starks, but they're smaller than the king. And so Jon Arryn was the Warden of the East. Yeah, and the king wants to appoint Jaime Lannister, which is the queen's twin who she's having sex with. And Ned is like, that's an epically bad idea. Not only is he a kingslayer and will kill you in your sleep, given half a chance, but the guy is already in line for being the Warden of the West. Do you really want the guy to control half your kingdom? And the king's like, you're stupid. He's a Lannister. Lannisters are the good guys. And Ned's like, you're stupid. The only good guys are you and your kin. And the king's like, shut up. However, the king really needs to notice that Ned knows what he's talking about. Yeah, and then at the end, Ned is like, I so don't want to follow you to the end of the earth. I need to be here with Caitlyn and talk about Bran and mourn my son who just fell off a freaking building. And he's like, damn it, I can't stay. And he runs off after the king, which is sad, but it happened. Anyway, I was late this time. Hopefully the next chapter will be up within a week. I looked up what it was and then I promptly forgot. Oh yeah, I remember now, it's Tyrion. Yeah, the next chapter is Tyrion, who apparently is boss. And the king doesn't like him very much, so we won't have to stand that bastard anymore. It's like, I'm so sick of the king. I hate him. Anyways, this is a really long video, and it's pretty much full of shit, so. Anyway, I'll be up in a week with Tyrion. Be there!